Good evening, Bransonaholics, and welcome to another one of our Behind the Branson Stars interviews here live, and you can tell we're live, at Local Flavor Cafe on 76 Country Boulevard. If you haven't had the food here, come down and see Michelle and her crew. These people are absolutely fantastic, and the food is unbelievably good comfort food. Been voted best comfort food in Branson on multiple occasions, so get down and try to help them out, and get her early because they fill up fast. And I'm here with one of the guys who plays here several nights of the week, Roger Horseman. Roger, do us a little favor. Talk to people out there. Introduce yourself and let us know.
Okay. My name is Roger Horseman. Like I tell people, I'm kind of the little entertainer in a town of big entertainers. There's lots of talent here in town. So I'm just amazed and blessed that I get to do what I do. But I come from a town, Maysville, Missouri. It's just east of St. Joseph, about 30 miles. My dad had a full service gas station, which I started working at when I was 5 years old, washing windows, checking tires, checking the oil on every single car that came in, rain or shine. You remember those days?
I do.
Yeah.
What was the name of the gas station?
Roy's Champlin. It was Roy's 66, and then he bought a Champlin station. I don't remember the Champlin stations, but yeah, he did. So I grew up
I
doing
think my
that.
family sold tires to your dad.
Seriously?
Yes, seriously.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy. That was in St. Joseph.
Yeah, we were
Out
all
by
over the
Memorial
state
Park
back then,
Cemetery.
yeah.
Well, isn't that
Oh, my
something?
word.
How about that?
Didn't even know this part.
No,
you know?
that's right. Surprise, yeah.
Automotively related.
How about that? Yeah. Well, my mom was a beautician, so my bedroom was above her beauty shop. So
Okay.
Thursdays and Fridays were a little stinky because that was permanent day, you know. But I grew up then and went to a small school. I think there was 1,100 in town, not the school, the
Okay.
town. And about junior year, my buddies and I, we were in mixed chorus, in the chorus and stuff, and enjoyed that. But I was an old country boy at heart, and a buddy and I found out we both played guitar, so we started a band. And there was 4 or 5 of us, started a band. We started doing shows. We'd rent out the high school and do country shows. My mom made all our outfits, and we did that for 2 or 3 years. We played at a little Opry in Hamilton. There was a little theater in Hamilton, Missouri. So you know where you know where Maysville is then? Do you really?
Yeah.
I don't find too many people that know what a Maysville is.
That's one of the crazy things about growing up in the tire business. Everybody needs tires. So,
Yeah.
you know, people when they'd moved to my hometown and they say, well, I'm from so-and-so. And I said, yeah, this is here. And I said, I know Joe that works over at Steve's Tire. And they're like,
That's wild.
so.
Wow, how about that? You're like the 4th person I've mentioned Maysville to that actually knew what it was. So we
Has nothing to do with mayonnaise, by the way.
That's right. No. So we did that, and I was telling you earlier that I hated school, so I couldn't wait to get out of school. So once I got out of school, moved to St. Joe, started a family early. Mm-hmm. So I've got 3 kids that are now grown, and I'm a grandpa now.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. But
Now, you hated school so horribly.
I did, yeah.
That you went on to a master's degree.
I did. I ended up
and
with
even going back to school to teach.
to teach. I taught business classes in college. I know, isn't that crazy?
A lot of us down here in Branson are very confused. I won't lie. This is just how our lives go.
That's Branson for you.
Now, you talked a little bit about putting the band together and doing that kind of stuff, but in your performances here at Local Flavor, we hear a lot of George Jones, a lot of George Strait, a lot of, Merle Haggard and that kind of thing with the old school country style. Was there anyone particular of the entertainers who just stood out to you that you really looked up to?
Oh, you know what? I just like all the old classics, and you could, Eddie Arnold, Farron Young, Ray Price, you could just go on and on, George Jones, and then George Strait. I'm not big on the new guys. I kind of am, if it's got a fiddle and or a steel guitar, then it's country.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I like.
Well, you mentioned Ray Price, who I got to see actually here in Branson later in his life, and he was really amazing to see.
Yeah.
And of course, just the legend of the man himself.
Yeah.
What got you started on the guitar? Was there anything particular? It's like, the girls like the guitar players. And I've talked to guys who, that's the reason they started playing the guitar was the girls. Or
that's a good.
Did you just?
That's a good question. I'm glad you brought that up, because when I was I think I was in 6th grade, I looked in the closet one day and saw this guitar in the closet, and it was my oldest brother. He's 10 years older than me, and he never really, he started taking lessons, but just never took off and played. And so I pulled it out and asked if I could start learning. And next thing I know, I'm taking guitar lessons. Yeah, and I like to play bass guitar, but I started playing bass guitar because my buddies and I found out we all play the guitar, so one of us had to play something else.
Something else, yeah.
So I picked up the bass guitar, and I really like playing the bass guitar too. But that little group, we kind of had a little falling out, and we started back another time, and then it kind of musicians, you know, and
we don't have to get into that.
That's
part.
Right. No, we don't. And then years later, 1999, I started working in a music store with a buddy of mine that was in that group and went to high school with him. And we did a show in Hamilton, Missouri at the theater. And we did a show there for about a year or so. And then I never sang or played again. Yeah, until 2021 in the October. It was a year after we moved down here. That's when I started playing again.
Now, what brought you to Branson? What was the...
You know what? We've just always liked Branson. We lived in Lake of the Ozarks, and that's a tourist destination, but it's not the same kind of tourist.
True.
As you know, and so this is our getaway. We've always wanted to move to Branson. We were glad we did. My wife's a kindergarten teacher. And so we moved down here. I had no intentions of playing music, and I didn't even thinking about it. I still had my equipment because we learned real quick that buying equipment's expensive. Selling it, you don't get any darn thing for it. So I still had some equipment, but I had no intentions. I do some woodworking, and I had retired from teaching and had a landscape company for 15 years, so I'd retired from that. And so I thought I would be doing some, you know, woodworking stuff and maybe get a couple of these booths around. That was my plan. And so I started doing that in a little shop downstairs we have in the house, and my wife, we got her grandparents to move down from Albany. You probably actually know what an Albany is. But they moved down, 97 years old, both of them at the time. And World War II vet, and he moved down here. We moved him into an assisted living place, and I thought, you know, I found out that they had entertainers once in a while there, and I thought, boy, I'd like to surprise. My wife had never seen me do anything like that before. Okay. Yeah, she knew that I had years ago, but she had never heard me, and so I thought, you know, I'm just going to work up. I found out it was an hour. I thought I'm going to have to work up enough music to sing for an hour and entertain those folks and surprise her grandpa. And he has since passed away, so thank God I did that, you know. Good. But so I surprised him and my wife, both, because I told her about a day or two before that, hey, guess what? I'm the entertainer at the bungalows. And she said, no, you're not. And I said, no, I really am.
No, you're not.
Yeah, I really am. So that's kind of how it all started. That's what's, yeah.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
Now, before you were here, did you start here at Local Flavor after that? Where was your first gig after doing that?
I had kind of, to be honest with you, I thought there's no way I would ever sit on a stage by myself and entertain.
Right.
And I still see people do it and think, how did they do that? And that's what I do. But
I still do that with my friends who are entertainers. I'm like, God, that's why they amaze me so much. Is I just watch them sing on the stage in front of all these people, and I'm thinking, I could. Of course, I've gotten on stage and I've told stupid jokes, and they look at me and they go, I don't know how you can go out up there and try to make people laugh. And I'm like,
right.
So I guess we never really understand until we actually.
I guess, yeah, because I still look at it that way, and we had been to Uptown Cafe before, and I had noticed that there was entertainers there, so I decided that I would just contact them, just ask them some information. So I messaged them, they gave me a little bit of information, and then I contacted Marie Z. And I thought, you know, she don't know me, but just see if she'll answer any questions. And I found out real quick in Branson, if you contact someone, and most all entertainers are great people here, and they will sit and talk to you like you're somebody when you're a nobody, you know. And so Marie Z said, you need to contact them. They're needing to add some people. You need to contact them. And I said, oh, I would never do that. I was just asking the questions, you know. I just wanted to know some information, but I would never get up there. I couldn't do that.
Well, nobody is a nobody in Branson. Everybody in Branson is a somebody. And I think that's one of the great things about Branson is that our entertainers do these great meet and greets after the shows, and that they get out and they talk to people. And Marie's still doing the shows for some of these care facilities.
Yeah.
And so
And
if
an
you're down
amazing
here and if you get a
entertainer.
chance, she's a beautiful singer, wonderful young lady, absolutely adore her. Her whole family is incredible. This is the sister of Dean Z, who is with the Ultimate Elvis Tribute Show, of course, if you've seen it here. It's his sister, and of course his brother Danny plays in the show there. It's a great family, a lot of talent there.
Oh yeah.
So then you came here to Local Flavor. How's it been here?
Michelle actually sent me a message.
Okay.
And she said, "Would you be interested in entertaining here at Local Flavor?" And I said, "Sure. You know, do I need to stop by, or do you want to email me, or what?" And she said, "Just stop by sometime." And I walked in, and it was like we were old friends. But isn't that the way Facebook works now?
It is.
You become friends before you're friends.
Yes.
It's kind of weird how that works now. But so I walked in, and so I started entertaining here on Wednesdays, and I was at Uptown Cafe doing shows on Monday and Tuesday. But I actually was contacted before I started at Uptown. I was contacted by Mike McAdoo. Do you know Mike McAdoo? He sent me a message, and he said, "Hey, I've seen some of your videos on YouTube." He said, "If you ever think about doing a CD, let me know." And I thought, I would never do a CD. And now I've got two. But and they were both with Mike. But so I went to have breakfast with him. I was all excited about that. I got to have breakfast with Mike McAdoo and got to meet him, you know. And that same day is when I went to try out at Uptown Cafe.
Oh, okay.
And I walked in there.
You've got an awful lot of things that come up. I'd never do, and then you end up doing it. Just before we started the interview, by the way, he said he would never try neon skydiving. So
that's right. We'll
see what happens when it comes up.
That's right. That's right.
Watch your roof.
Yeah. So I went in there, and to be honest with you, the owners came up to me and they didn't know who I was.
Right.
And I know they probably have a lot of people come in there. And the first thing he said was, "We have a lot of people coming in here thinking they're George Strait, and this is what I looked like." And I thought, great.
Well, I look like it today.
Nice, yeah. So, but I knew I couldn't do any George Strait music because they had a George Strait tribute show at the time. So I just did country music from the 50s and 60s, and that's all I did. And I was real strict about that. That's all I did. And I did some 50s. I love the 50s music too, the rock and roll stuff. So I did some of that too. And so I did my little tryout. I went home and they contacted me and asked me if I could do my first show the next day.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but again, I still to this day, and I'm not kidding, Mark, I still to this day, it amazes me that people want to hear my music and like it. And I'm serious. It's just crazy to me. Yeah.
Well, and then we talked about, and then here at Local Flavor, is the crowd different here? Is it a little more cozy, or is it a little more different? I mean,
it's different. Uptown Cafe, people know that there's live entertainment there. So they have a lot of tour buses, which I really like the tour buses. I met a lot of people. I have a lot of followers because I've met a lot of people. And so when I come here, it's like coming to Grandma's house and playing in the, it's got that feel.
You
eat here.
It's got a good cozy feel.
Yeah, it does. The acoustics are different because it's all wood and it's tall, so it's kind of gets loud pretty quick. But yeah, it's different. The people come in here not expecting entertainment unless they follow me or whatever.
Right.
But otherwise they come in, it's like a surprise. So yeah, it's a different crowd. It is.
Well, what is your? Let's talk about the music a little bit. And you mentioned a lot of the names you had growing up, and that really did. But one of the questions I like to ask people is, do you have a guilty pleasure in music? Do you have something that's completely off the cuff of classic country, and you're like, once in a while I just gotta put in this or that? You got one of those?
You know what? I like most kind of music. I don't like the hard rock stuff at all, or the heavy
Chinese
metal.
opera. Here we go.
Yeah, but once in a while I'll come across someone. I like the Sinatra stuff and all the old Bublé, and I like all that stuff. But I even came across a guy that in Ireland. I have a lot of followers in Ireland. I came across a guy in Ireland that I listen to a lot because I just like the style. He does all the old country, but yet, and I like the way they talk.
What's his name?
Oh, Derek Ryan.
Derek Ryan. Okay.
Yeah, just really good. He's quite the entertainer. You have to look him up sometime.
I will.
Yeah. But I do want to tell you, there's something I didn't mention. When I first put my video on there, it kind of started things out with, because Marie Z saw the videos. Mike McAdoo saw the videos, and that's how I started with the CDs. But I put my first CD online. This is the truth, because when I was growing up, I was real close to my mom and dad. Well, they both passed, and there's days. My dad passed when I was 23. There's days that I'd love to hear his voice. He didn't sing, but I'd just love to hear his voice.
Distinctive voice.
I forget what his voice sounded like, and that bothers me. And I thought, I don't want that to happen to my grandkids. So the Old Rugged Cross was always his favorite song. So I recorded that at home, and I did all 4 parts, and because I do all the backup singing on my CDs and stuff. I love harmony. And so I did that video, and I put it on YouTube, which I knew nothing. I wasn't techie, and I didn't know anything about it, but I put it out there.
You can ask Chris. He'll tell you how little I know about the internet.
Then I thought, well,
I text him like at 2 o'clock in the morning. Is this supposed to be right? Is this supposed to be popping up here? No.
Yeah, well, I have to ask my wife. So then I thought, well, I'll do another. I'll do Green Grass at Home, because that was always one of Mom and Dad's favorites too. So I put those 2 out there, and my plan was put them out there, don't tell anybody, and hopefully one day my grandkids will find it, and go, that's my grandpa. Yeah. So that's kind of how it started. But then I started getting followers, and I don't know if you knew about it or saw it on my Facebook page, but Marie Whitten from Ontario, Canada, came last June to meet me, because her and she's been following me since I first started, first put she contacted me and was just a big fan, and I thought, this is crazy. I have somebody in Canada that actually likes my music. But now I have got a lot of followers in Canada and Ireland and Sweden and Australia. And
I think that's one of the great things about the internet. It's one of the great things about Branson. We get travelers here from all over the world.
Yeah.
And we've got fans here on our page who are from Australia, Belize.
Oh, yeah.
And all these other countries. And so hello to all of you, all of our friends in Canada.
Right. Oh, that's so
anywhere
cool.
else. And so we're trying to give you some great options. Come down and hear people like Roger sing. And if you had a set to just, you've got your ideal audience, what is the song you like most to start with?
Oh, that's a good one. I rarely start with the same song. Sometimes when it's quiet like this, I'll start with Funny How Time Slips Away, just something to kind of casually get into it, And if it's a little busier, then I'll start with a faster tune to kind of get their attention. But everybody likes George Strait, so I do it.
That's
now
an easy one.
Now I do a lot of George Strait,
because you don't have to worry about
it. That's right. And I've had a lot of requests for George Strait since I started. I just have. And so I like to do the George Strait stuff. But yeah, so I don't really, Buck Owens is fun. Those are fun songs to do.
That Bakersfield country out of California had that special twang to it that was just, and Buck was the perfect guy for that.
Oh,
I don't know, he was just
and that
amazing.
band he had, the
and
Buckaroos.
The Buckaroos, my gosh.
Yeah.
I'll never forget one of the best videos I ever saw was Buck and the Buckaroos in England performing Johnny Be Good. So if you want to talk about a crazy mix of music and specific place to do it in. Now, if let's say I'm a parent and I come up and I say, Mr. Horseman. Don't mess that up. Houseman's the old guy that reads the books and that's Scrooge and all. But Mr. Horseman, we've got our grandson with us, and we want to introduce him to some really good classic country. What would you pick out and say, okay, here's a song that really kind of personifies that classic country style?
There's so many. Anything Ray Price. If it's a little kid, Buck Owens is fun because they're a fun song.
They are.
If they've never heard them before, they would like country just because of their fun songs.
Yeah.
And so Buck Owens would definitely be one. But you know what? Everybody's different. And that's one thing about playing in the restaurants is, there's times when I play more Buck Owens because I can tell that that's what they like. Or I can't wait to do a George Jones tune. Every time I get ready to do a George Jones, I know that there's George Jones fans out there. Yeah. And He Stopped Loving Her Today and the Grand Tour, those are big songs. Yeah. And I love doing those songs. That can quiet the place down sometimes. So
okay.
I like doing those, yeah.
And we got to tell one story off the music. In that when you lived in Lake of the Ozarks and you had the lawn mowing and landscaping thing going, you did have an incident which I can best describe. If anybody's ever seen the Stephen King movie Christine, where you were basically you had an incident with a lawnmower. I'll let you.
I did.
Tell this one.
I had sold my company. I had retired, and I kept my zero-turn mower that the mowing division had. And I thought, I'm going to keep that. That'll be fun. I'll do my own yard with that. And one day when I was by myself, Lake of the Ozarks is a lot like around here. There's always a hill. And I was going along, and that darn thing turned on me, and it went straight down. I went frontwards twice. I remember the first one. The second one evidently threw me off, because I remember waking up, like I told you, there was a little tree this big holding me, and I was squatted against it, and I was looking at my mower, still running, that was heading towards me, but another smaller tree was holding it. So I ran up there and shut it off. Yeah. And all I had was this little cut right here, I thought. And so my wife, I sent her a text, and like I said, she came home right after, well, during school. The principal followed her home. She's a school teacher, so she come in, and she was all worried. I was fine. I thought I was dandy. I just needed a Band-Aid.
Now you thought you were fine.
I thought I was fine, yeah. And so we went to the hospital, and I was telling you, they were calling a code whatever, and I thought, man, somebody's hurt here. And it was for me, and they were treating it like a car wreck. And I didn't realize it, because I still thought I just needed my leg cleaned up and somebody give me a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
And so they put stitches here, asked me if I was ever knocked out, which I said no, but I clearly remember the second turn, but I don't remember anything after that until I woke up. So yes, I was knocked out. And so got all that taken care of. Got some stitches here between the pinky finger and my ring finger, and then the next thing I know, in a couple weeks, I get frozen shoulder. I can't move my arm. So I got a procedure done on that, and I still have some troubles with my shoulder, but hey, I'm still here. And I have a really cool story to tell. So.
You do,
yeah.
You do. Attack of the lawnmower.
Yeah, because most people don't believe one can roll frontwards. That they can.
Oh, apparently, yeah. You get somebody, they tell you it can until you meet the person, and they're like,
right.
Here it is, right over the top twice.
Yep, that's right.
Well, Roger, I want to thank you. And again, Roger Horseman, you can catch him here at Local Flavors. What nights?
I'm Wednesdays and Saturdays at 5.
Okay, and 5 to 7?
5 to 7, and sometimes a little longer, but 5 to 7.
Now, are you playing anywhere else right now, or just kind of?
I'm not playing it. I'm just
doing that, a little woodworking.
Wherever. I'm not even doing any woodworking. I'm just kind of going wherever the music takes me.
Gotcha.
I know that sounds weird, but I'm not.
And
really.
You can pick up CDs.
Yes, I've got 2 CDs. They're all local musicians, and I've got some of the finest. I've got Mike McAdoo on there, Greg Moody on the steel guitar, and some of the folks. Know Bruce Hoffman, who used to live here, and he played for some of the big names, Mel Tillis and Buck Trent and all those. He lives in Canada now, but Mike told me, he says, this second CD, I'd like to have Bruce Hoffman do the fiddle and the steel on it. And I said, okay, I'd never heard of him before, which tells you. But yeah, I'd never heard of him. He said, he said he's perfect for your music. And I don't know if you know him or not, but I
know of him.
Yeah, he really has that good old classic style. And he played the steel guitar and the fiddle. I can't imagine being able to play both, but he did both, and so I'm really proud of the CDs. Really proud. Yeah, got Jonathan Black on keyboard on both of them. Yep. So got some good musicians on there.
All right, sounds good. Well, Roger, we appreciate you having us with
thank
you today.
So much.
And don't forget, people, we're going to be doing some extra drives sometime soon. And when you get driving in here in Branson, don't forget to stop in here at Local Flavors for some of the best comfort food and home cooking you're going to get all through town. And save room for dessert, because you can't live without that one here. And if you get a chance, make sure you come by when you get to see Roger on Wednesdays and Saturday nights. But we will next time see you. Don't know who we're going to have yet. We're talking to some different people. But as always, I'll see you at the shows.